Hey everybody, welcome to Space Plan. So I have no idea when this is going to air. This is just kind of, I feel like doing something and I don't know what it is, but I'm going to record it. So how to begin? This is an idle game, or it qualifies as an idle game. It's not 100% idle because you can engage with it, but the idea is that we are going to be slowly making progress towards a goal, and there might be points in time in which I leave the game running for a day or something like that, less than that, presumably, so that you guys don't have to sit here and wait. Or maybe I fast forward. It's hard to say. So, I originally played this online. There's a free version. This is the Steam version. I figured I'd throw them a couple bucks since I thought they did a good job. Plus, there's supposedly more features here, and I'm not sure what that's all about. So English, sound design, music on, you has on. Yeah, let's be scientifically accurate. Oh, that's the volume. Okay, yeah, sure. Oh, use joules rather than watts. Watts is fine. Whatever. Kinetogen key is spacebar, and okay, cool. Boop. So we're loading the Hopper RT systems. Loading. It's dialect, but idiolect. Started. Hello, wakey wakey. Let's get to work. Where are we? No idea. Systems are being difficult. Power's all messed up. Sorted out. Use your kinetic generator button on the left side of the screen. Also, like, part of the reason why I liked this game is because it has some really nice UI features. We generated 9 watts, and we have started the Thing Maker. The Thing Maker has power. Nice. Use it to build anything in our libraries. Searching Thing Maker libraries. Loading Advanced Robotics library. Failed. Loading Distress Call library. Failed. Bugger. Loading Cookie library. Failed. This is just silly. That's a joke to a cookie clicker, which is another idle game. Loading Potato library. Success. It'll do. Our libraries seem to be pretty corrupt. Get us some more power, please. Repair some solar panels. Use the kinetogen. So we're now building up this over here. We kind of got rid of the more annoying sound. Boom. The Idealister. The Idealister is up and running. Use it to improve your things with my lovely ideas. So basically we can use this to improve what's going on. So mess with the kinetic generator's internals for 3 watts per cycle. So we have 34 watts. We can build a solar panel. And now we are generating 0.1 energy per second. So every 10 seconds we will generate a watt. Now, as you may or may not notice, this got more expensive. It is now 20 watts. That is one of the hallmarks of this kind of game, is that things get progressively more expensive on an exponential curve so that you have to progress forward. And now for the fun part. Space Plan. Bloody hell, that's an obnoxious boot up. Embarrassing, software devs, eh? Well, there we are, all up and running. Build more things so we can work out exactly where we are. So, all we know is that we are orbiting this thing. And yeah, so we'll go ahead and repair some more solar panels while we can. We're up to 0.4. You'll notice that there's some really nice graphics here that are going to indicate when we get power. We also now have panels are covered in red dust. Clean them for 3 watts for every 10 seconds, which is a multiplier of 0.3 as they are 0.1 watt per second right now, as it indicates so kindly right there. So we are going to have to either wait. Oh, here's the other fun part about this game, and part of the reason why I like this game is notice how we are in the shadow of the sun. That means our solar panels are not working. Now we can still use this to generate power, but until we are outside of right, did I say this was a sun? This is a planet. We are outside the shadow. Boom. Now you'll notice that we are starting to get things again. Now, I want to go ahead and get ourselves up to the next thing, which is a potato. Genetically modified for more power output, 1 watt per second. Now it also kindly tells us what percentage of our wattage is from each thing. So this 1 watt per second is 71% of our total wattage, whereas this is 28.6. And you can kind of suss that out a little bit. But as you'll notice, once again, if we don't want to do anything, if we want to sit around and do nothing, it's going to take us a little bit of time to build these up. If you have never played an idle game, this is a pretty good first one. It's pretty much a low-key sort of thing. They also get called clicker games. Like Cookie Clicker is the one that I was talking about earlier that gets poked fun at. Cookie Clicker is a lot of fun. It's about like your grandma that starts cooking you cookies, but then as you get further into the game, it's about like Cult of Cthulhu type stuff. So I'm going to keep building some potatoes here, because potatoes are more cost efficient. A lot of the time looking at these, you've got a couple different things that you can weigh in your head as to what you want to buy. Because right now I can buy this solar panel or repair it, right? I'm spending watts on it. And I could buy 2 of them for 0.2. But that is about 0.5 if I were to wait for the potato. I could get this now, or I could wait a little bit to get that. And there's some really, it's not terribly complicated math, but there's some math involved about what you should and shouldn't buy, especially as these things get more expensive. There's also the very interesting problem of, guess what? The solar panels don't work when we're in the shadow, which doesn't happen all that much, mind you, but it does happen. Now, as we're sitting here clicking, I'm also going to consider using those clean solar panels, because with 140 watts, I'm going to make this 0.5 watts become 1.5 watts. Boom. Now we've got a lot more. Now we're still going to be subject to the mercy of the shadow, but these are now much more valuable. So the fact that this is 1/6 of the price and 1/3 of the power output means that it is worth buying solar panels again. So other things to note that are going to be going on here is this kinetogen tweak. This 200 watts makes this button more effective. And quite honestly, we're pressing this button a lot. So we should probably do it. But it's going to be more expensive than even a potato. But look at how fast we're clicking. I mean, 3 watts per cycle, that's a cycle. 1 click is a cycle. We're doing 1, so we're tripling our effectiveness at clicking. And you're going to notice how much faster we can earn those watts. It's very good. Now, a lot of these are very expensive from here on out, and we are about to enter the shadow. So I'm going to go ahead and invest in some potatoes. Even though they're less effective, it's going to be more useful in the near future. Because, boom, we go from 6.4 to just 4 because we have 4 potatoes. And now 5. Now, we can still buy the solar panels while we're here, but quite honestly, we want to get away from solar panels. We don't want to be dependent on where we are in the rotation. We want that consistency. And it's probably about time to consider going up to that next thing, which we don't know what it is. But oh look, panels are presentable, 3 watts every 10 seconds. And it basically, this is just going to be summing up what we do. Also, apparently where our mouse is affecting a little bit of this. So we should look at what our upgrades are. So solar ambiances, solar panels produce 0.5 in shadow. So even though we're in the shadow, we still get some efficiency. Yeah, we're gonna wait and save up for that. Quality mosh, potato power gain times 3. Quality mash, not mosh. So yeah, these would be, instead of 1 watt per second, 3 watts per second. Once again, pretty nice upgrade, but it's really expensive. Get some sheen on those bad boys, 1 watt per second. That would basically make these equivalent with these. Very expensive, but we will have a lot of these at some point. Although, of course, if we buy this first, which we probably will, they won't ever quite be equal. And then this one will upgrade the kinetogen, our clicking thing right here, to make 100 watts per cycle. That is really good. But we're gonna make a potato. Oh, can't quite make it just yet. There we go. Boom. And here's the fun part. This potato is gonna hang out right there. So, Monofood Spud for planetary harvesting, 8 watt per second, 1.5 times in free fall. So basically this guy just generates wattage as he falls to the planet. But there's going to be another effective thing here that we're going to find out. As it hits, see, it lost. Potato lost, data gained, data is stored in the fact holder area in the top left. So we have to launch 3 before we can get full data, but we did get a whole bunch of our data back. So I still kind of want to increase our overall generation here before we launch some more potatoes. The potatoes are good. They're definitely good, but they get more expensive too. And unfortunately, they don't survive the landing. So we really are limited by what they can do. But if we find out more about the planet, we will probably be able to progress and maybe get some more stuff. That doesn't seem particularly useful right now because everything is pretty darn expensive. But it's something that we need to do. Probe launch, Challengers go. I really don't know if that's not tasteful, because we know it's going to burn up in the atmosphere. You'll notice though that we're at 22 per second, which is about to go down. So having that out for just a little bit almost doubles our output. And now we get to find out more about where we are. We are about to be in the shadow, but I really want to get these solar panels up. Now you can definitely hear me clicking. You could build a macro that would click for you, but that's not nearly as fun, I think. Boom. Okay, our probe potatoes are getting baked in the thick atmosphere. Foil heat shields should keep them cozy. Check the idea lister. So here you go. Wrap them in foil to stop them burning. Perhaps add some Lee and parents. So if we go ahead and develop this, our probe potatoes should live. Live being an interesting word because potatoes are roots, and I guess they don't necessarily need to be dead. Boom. All potatoes are now foil wrapped to withstand re-entry heat and the odd fan-assisted oven. Alright, so we pretty much want to throw our probe potato down pretty solidly here. Though those solar panels are tempting. I think we want to see what we're going to get. Now remember, the probe potatoes do gain 1.5 times during free fall. So while they are falling to the planet, they are generating more than they will when they're on the planet. But overall, they're still pretty good. So if we look at this, it's going to be 8 watts per second. 8 watts per second is 2/3 of what we already have. And it's at 12 watts per second because of it's in free fall. So we can go ahead and use this wonderful boost to go ahead and just buy a lot of stuff. Try and get a nice good jump on the generation. And we're about to drop down to about 21.5, I believe. When it lands, boom. Yep, but it's now on the planet and it's still generating, which is really good for us. Those probe potatoes are probably what we want to invest in now. They're probably more effective. It's a little bit, it's like 1.5, 150 watts for every watt being generated, which this is literally 1 for 1, or 1 by 1 watt. So this is almost triple that cost. And this is also almost triple because it's 1/3 and about the same price. So that probe potato is as efficient as you are going to get. Plus, when we launch it, we do get this really nice impulse of income. I didn't ever think I'd actually be making an idle or recording an idle game for this, but idle games are weirdly engaging. There's something about them that draws you in, and maybe it's because I'm an engineer, right? Like maybe that's what it is. This sort of weighing the math, weighing what's effective is really fun, but also it's just pure player versus environment. There's no weird competition with other people. It's not PvP, but at the same time it's wanting you to win. It's not, I mean, Gungeon is a lot of fun, don't get me wrong. It is PvE though. There's no PvP. I can't imagine what PvP would be like. Probably pretty brutal. But there's not the peace here. Like, sure, I am clicking like a madman, and I am definitely risking carpal tunnel. But part of the thing here is eventually, we're getting 50 per second. I can't click that fast. My clicking is not actually helpful. The extra, I mean, 1/1000. I maybe click 10 times. Not even. I maybe clicked 5 times. It's just not worth that effort to just really wreck your hands on. Now, we're getting close to maybe wanting to start going for that, start saving for it. I don't think we're going to do it quite yet. These are still pretty effective. We don't know how much these are going to give us. I have a feeling it's going to be more efficient than the Pro Potato, but it takes more time in that investment. Now, we also are back up a little bit because we were passing through the sun. The shadow, not through the sun. The opposite of that thing that I said. But yeah, one of the other reasons why I really like this game is, solar systems are fun. Solar systems are a lot of fun, and we're clearly in one. We're orbiting a planet. But what's even better is where these land on the surface is where they stay. This planet is orbiting something else, clearly, and it's also rotating along its poles, or along the axis through its poles. And that means that things that we've landed on the planet before show up as it goes around. I think that's really neat. So, I guess I'm saving for one of these right now. I could also pull the solar ambiance, but I don't think it's worth it just yet. Now, for this 8,000, we would go up 18, because we'd go from 1 to 3, so an increase of 2 per. So 8,000 for 18, not quite worth it, because we get 8 from these for 2,000, so we could get 24 for the same cost. Now granted, this makes every other potato we buy in the future more worth it, which is another thing to consider. Like, it really is. But I think we really want to... Oh, interesting. Probe potato landed successfully. This place looks familiar. Get us more probes. Let's investigate. But yeah, balancing those things is tough, because I really want to buy this, because this isn't going up any faster. Forget what moving your mouse around does, but it does something. It's affecting the orbit slightly. I think it's just the camera angle. We're halfway to saving to this. We are halfway. And once again, I don't think this is really helping. Also, game's smart. It really mutes that very high ping right away. We still hear it. We can still see that we're doing it. That we're clicking, that is. But we're not, you know, ham-fisting it, as it were. Now, I'm sure you can probably still hear my mouse clicking, because my mic's pretty sensitive, even though it should kind of be in the deaf area of the microphone. It's out of the cone. The cone of shame, which I reside in. Oh, come on. 9.2. We are 3/4 of the way there. Actually, a little bit less than that. Math is hard. Let's just leave it at that. Now we are 3/4 of the way. We're over 3/4 of the way. Yeah, see, we're so close. You know it's called Sputnik. The first potato satellite, 42 watts per second. So if we look at some efficiency here, 8 watts per second for 2,000, we're looking at paying 250 watts for every watt per second. 13,000 for 42 is paying 400 watts. Is that? No, that's not right. 13,000 divided by 42. I should be able to do that, but I can't right now. My brain is kind of lacking. Let's just do 50. So 260 would be the ballpark. So this is actually slightly more expensive than this. Kind of surprising, but I'm still going to buy one of these just to get one of them. Because we've waited this far. And ching. The other thing to note is that buying the 5 of these wouldn't actually cost 10,000. It would cost actually a decent bit more than that. But the other fun thing is when you're at this sort of rate, buying stuff like these is really trivial. And you just kind of let it rack up. And there's the little small bits, but that's what makes these upgrades pay off so well. Because yeah, buying a potato used to be a lot, but now it's 4 seconds of waiting. Well, now it's 5, almost 6, as it goes up and gets more expensive, but that's a really trivial cost to just throw, and we've got something that's going to triple its gain. We can gain 26, which is a quarter of what we have for 8,000 watts, which is pretty darn good. It's more efficient than buying another one of these, and it's probably more efficient than this. But this pays off faster. Yeah, so we went 2023, 27. So in the first 3 alone, we're actually paying 7,000. So the extra 2 that we pay is going to be more than that. Or actually, no, slightly less than 4,000 or 7,000. But it's still pretty good. Now, this is of course going to hurt when we enter the shadow again. We could just really quickly pick this up, and I'm actually considering it right now. But we're saving up pretty fast, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and buy this Maris Pipers. I think that's what we're going to save for here, and then we're going to go ahead and throw down the Solar Ambiance if we are right about to be in here, because this is going to increase us up to about 150, a little bit more than that. Plus, I'm going to be buying potatoes for a while because they're going to be significantly more efficient. Because we're talking about 700 to 1, but it's about to be 700 to 3, which is 200 to 1, which is pretty darn efficient compared to the other stuff. Because this 8 for 3,000 isn't looking as good as it used to. It's still looking okay, just not nearly as efficient. And that's basically how you play these games. I'm just kind of trying to min-max just a little bit. If you want to, you can play them with friends by just doing it in a race. In fact, a lot of these will tell you how long you've been here. And this is basically what this is, if you pay attention. It's about a 30-second timer. You know, each one of these is about 30 seconds. Each one of these is, you know, it's about, if you've got 12, 30-minute things, that means that each one of these years, 30 day, which is about 30 seconds, each one of these is taking by in about a second. So, you know, it's about 6 minutes a year, which, no, that's not right. This is going slightly faster than a second. So I haven't been paying attention. I've just been kind of wandering off in La La Land, so... As I said, kind of off in La La Land, trying to do some basic math. But it burns, you know, good time. So 1 per second here is going to triple, give us 75. This 15,000 gives us 75 compared to this, which gives us 42. So this upgrade is pretty darn worth it. And we should probably consider waiting for it. And with how fast we're going up, 200 per second almost, we're talking 5 seconds per 1,000, 75 seconds before we can get this. And by the time I've done that math, we're already, you know, 40% of the way there, just about. So we just sit here and relax. And here is the fun part of the game. Now, because I'm recording this for you guys, I'm not doing anything else. I'm actually playing the game. But you can walk away from your computer. Right now, I could pause the video and walk away for like 20 minutes. And come back. And you want to know how many watts I'd have? I mean, you can figure it out pretty easily. 1,200 a minute. Something like that. Or not 1,200, 12,000 a minute, my bad. Basic math. A little bit less than that because I'm rounding up to 200. But that sort of thing, you know, suddenly 12,000 a minute, walk away for 20 minutes, I've got a crap ton of watts that I can go ahead and get to the next thing just right now. Just go ahead and grab it. But I did some bad math. That happens too. Oh, we're not in the shadow. Nope, just did bad math. Right, it went up by a factor of 3, which was 0.6. See, and this is where you find out that you're bad at math. Or reading comprehension, one of those two. I'm gonna go ahead and grab that just because I can. So yeah, 25 at 0.6 is a little bit less than 75. If anything, the way that I was thinking about it was wrong to begin with. It would have been 50 because an increase from 1 to 3 would have been an increase of 2 per 2 times 25, 50. So yeah, I'm just bad at basic math. That's all it is. this probably wasn't the more efficient upgrade, but remember, it makes every single one of these better. And if you're not playing the immediate, what is the most effective cost of like return on investment that I can do right now, if you're not doing that immediately, if you do take that break and just walk away, then you suddenly have an advantage because you can buy the more expensive, more efficient thing that you couldn't maybe have afforded earlier. And that's the strength. That is the big strength of what we're doing here. Or at least the benefit of it being an idle game. And let's be honest here. This is some amazing music also going on. Like, this is some really sweet background. I mean, if it's your thing. I enjoy this. It's got a nice solid beat. It's not too intrusive. And it kind of keeps you engaged. Just, you know, a little bit of a foot tap. I'm going a little bit more all out because I just am kind of grooving with it. Obviously, you can see by the fact that sometimes I'm not actually looking at the screen that I'm just kind of closing my eyes and grooving. Now, you can, of course, mute this. You can turn off the music and be watching a TV show. Or, you know, Netflix. If you're like me, I've got, you know, a stupid number of monitors, so I don't expect you to be like me, but I spend pretty much all my time on my computer. Even when I'm not recording. All my projects and stuff have some basis on my computer. So it's just like a thing. It's just a thing that I'm here. So I can be watching Twitch, I can be watching other YouTubers, I can be doing whatever. And that's just the way it is. Boom. All right. Large power gains if used effectively, plus 1% temp power gain per spark hit. These are spark hits, by the way. So interesting. I don't remember what this does. Double the efficiency is wrong, by the way. That's wrong. Is it though? Let's think about that. Actually, we have no way of knowing. Double the efficiency. No, because if its efficiency was 10% and its efficiency went to 20%, 10% would be 0.3 of 3, 20% would be 0.6. So yeah, double the efficiency is linear in double the watt gainage. So yeah, that's wrong, but that's okay. Look, I don't expect their math to be 100% perfect. We are at exactly 300 per second. That's pretty sweet. We've got some more upgrades here that we haven't touched on. This is the last one we looked at, besides this one that we just looked at. So 100 watts per cycle, 100 watts per click, pretty big upgrade. 33 times more. Bore further into the surface, more gains. Potato power gain times 4. That could be really good. Move this from 8 to 32. That's pretty sweet. Expensive though. Or expensive though. Sorry, as expensive. No, not quite as expensive as moving up. So way beyond what we're looking at. 4 watts per second. Multiply that by 4. Really nice upgrade. And then the golden Sputnik foil, Sputnik power. I said Sputnik because that's correct. This is Sputnik because it's a pun. Power gain times 3 makes this from 42 to 126. Pretty sweet. We are in the shadow. Alright, we got 16,000. So the question is, where do we want to spend that money that we've got right now? We could keep going up. We could keep building Sputniks. That puts us at 342 when we're out of the sun. So is that how we want to play it? I mean, it seems like a reasonable thing to do, but we could also save. And once again, this is where your preference as a person and how you want to play the game comes to fruition. Because everybody's going to play this game differently. Everybody's going to see different things. Some people are just going to be like, I want to buy as many solar panels as I can right away. That's how I want to do this. Man, I'm going to be really sad when this music gets copyright struck or something. I like it. Ship status breezy. Down by the pipe, 5 by 5. I don't even know what that means, but it sounds... Well, I know where it's from. which means aliens. There are aliens on this planet. Man, I really don't know. I kind of want to throw at this. I also kind of want to throw at this. 100 per second means that 10 clicks, which I can click pretty fast. It's 1,000, which means that we could really, like, I could make think about that. I'm basically generating 0 watts per second. My click is 1%. Excuse me. My click is 1% of what we make per second. So I'd have to click 100 times per second to catch up. Remember back when we were making like 10? And I upgraded to 3 and suddenly my clicking was relevant again? It's exactly what this would do. It would put us back at 1/3 of what we are doing. Of what we're making per second in a click. That means that I can basically, if I click 5 times per second, I can make it appear as though time is passing 6 times as fast in terms of our watt gainage. It's what makes it really tempting. It would also be nice to see what this is and how cost efficient this is to proceed with. It's also something that would be nice to see. Now, I don't know when we're going to get that option, but, you know, we're at 300 a second. That's 1,000 every 3. So every 3 seconds we're getting 1,000. That means that to get to this, we need another 3 minutes. I've got another 3 minutes to burn. Or I could just walk away. Just walk away from my computer right now and just let it sit. And I'm tempted to do that. I really am, mostly because I'm a little thirsty and my water glass is empty. And who knows, I'm sure I can find something else that I need to get done for just like a little bit. So how am I going to play it? That's a good question, because I like being engaged by these games actively. The ones that allow you to interact with them and be more... Well, I'm going to keep repeating keywords here, so I apologize. But the ones that let you engage with them, click buttons, try and min-max just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Those are the ones that I like because you can choose to suddenly jump back into it. And like when you choose to jump into it and really dig, you can really just like, you feel like you are making those critical decisions, even though it is completely pointless, even though all we are doing is looking at numbers increasing. That's what gets the endorphins running for some of us, because we're humans and we're predictable, and that's what humans do. We like watching numbers go up. It's just who we are as creatures. And it's so tempting to just sit here and watch those numbers climb. And the question is, are you counting up? And then we're at 90. Or are you counting down? We've got 30,000 to go, 29,000 to go, 28. It's just one of those things that's a little silly, a little interesting. And quite honestly, as I'm watching OBS recording, it is occasionally just completely reading my eyes in the wrong place. It's rather interesting. So yeah, I don't know where I'm going to go from here on this game. I'd like to continue. There is an end game to this game, and it's only 2 or 3 hours in. There's only a couple episodes, so this could be something really nice while I'm trying to transition to something new. Or if I have stuff I need to do, or like a weekend gets really caught up and I just run out of time. Who knows? I'll find something to do with it. But I think what I'm going to do here... Actually, does hitting settings pause? It does not. Does anything pause? Also, you can use the spacebar to enter if I hit escape. Oh, escape doesn't even pause. So I have to exit to actually pause. So maybe I will go ahead and just wait for this. And I'm going to go ahead and hit stop on the recording. Go ahead and check. Notice that we are at 8 years, 4 months, 17 days. I'm guessing this could just be time. But because it cuts off at 30, I feel like it makes sense. We've been stuck farming potatoes for 8 years. That's insane. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and walk away and stop the recording. And also stop, like, I don't know, eating the mic, because suddenly I'm leaning on the mic stand. Which means I've got to be talking super loud. Or maybe I'm just becoming an ASMR channel. I don't really know. But... I'll see you guys next time when we have a load more cash and maybe get to make one of these. But until then, keep your gears turning.